Right, we're back. Here we go. Another year, another Download Festival, and of course, another series of the Lowdown, the official Download Festival TV show. We're back and bigger than ever. My name's Bees. This year, we're going to be bringing you interviews from some of the killer bands on the lineup. We've got videos, requests and shout-outs. Plus, we've got the mighty Download's Big Ten. What would Bruce do? That's our new feature with Iron Maiden legend Bruce Dickinson. And all of the usual mayhem you come to expect from us on the Lowdown. Coming up on today's show, I'll be getting psychosocial with Mr. Corey Taylor, you lucky people, hanging with new gent rap crossover mob Hacktivist, and as with every show, we'll be giving you the chance to win a pair of tickets to this year's Download Festival, so stay tuned for that. Right, as you should obviously know now, Download is only a few months away, kicking off on June 14th to the 16th. Download tickets are available now, selling like hotcakes, so get on it, downloadfestival.co.uk. Now, why don't we kick things off with 6 German maniacs? That cool with you? Good. Rammstein, Mein Land. Rammstein there are, of course, headlining the main stage on the Sunday of this year's Download Festival, where you will also be able to catch a day to remember getting everyone amped before Limp Bizkit on the Zipper stage. Here they are right now with I'm Made of Wax Larry. What are you made of? Right, come back after the break. I'll be chatting to Slipknot's Corey Taylor about playing twice over the course of Download Festival with Slipknot and Stone Sour. See you after this. Welcome back to the Lowdown. We promised you massive guests, and while in the coming weeks we're going to be getting up close and personal with Bullet from Our Valentine, Asking Alexandria, Enter Shikari, him, Cancerbats, loads more. We're kicking things off in the biggest way possible. Pulling double duty this year with Slipknot and Stone Sour. Here's us having a natter with Corey Taylor. Bees, and welcome to a very special Lowdown because we're joined by Mr. Corey Taylor. Double duty, playing twice on the main stage, you greedy.
What? I blame you people, all right? Everybody's just like, oh, it's not Download without Corey, so I show up twice.
Yeah.
And I can't win. I can't buy a bucket.
What are you going to do on Saturday? If you're playing on the Friday and the Sunday?
Sleep.
Yeah.
Not do a damn thing. I'm like, God, I'm an idiot.
So, long-running history with all things Download.
Yes.
When was the first time?
First time was actually, it was either 2002 or 2003 with Stone Sour.
Yeah, I thought it was Stone Sour before Slipknot.
Yeah. And I remember that. I was so drunk. Well, I mean, I was not necessarily during the show, but that specific Download, it was very strange. They had this big, like, giant, like, chessboard in the middle of, like, all the tents. They had, like, all these tents, like, out there. Right? So there's, like, this giant chessboard where all the pieces were, like our size. Like, and I can remember waking up with an empty bottle of Jack Daniels, and I'm like cradling the Queen or something.
Amazing.
I mean, it was so. I'm like, and I mean, it was the middle of the day.
Don't get me wrong, it's better than it's the Queen.
I'm like, oh, what?
It's better that it's the Queen than the Bishop.
Well, I don't know my chess pieces that well. It could no, but the show was great. You know, I had bought this. This T-shirt with the Union Jack on it, and I'd like scribbled on it with Sharpie, so I reeked of ink, you know, of marker ink, and I'd written Donington in like huge letters, and then no one could read it. Like it was so bad. And then I took the shirt off, and it had bled through because I'd sweat so bad. I'm like, I'm such a. It was terrible.
10 out of 10 for effort, though.
Well, you know, I mean, I just want people to know how much I tried to do something mildly impressive. So.
And was it something that you super looked forward to the first time at Castle Donington?
Well, yeah,
like it must have been nuts.
Come on, man. I mean, I've said this, you know, since day one. You know, that's that festival that I read about when I was a kid. You know, I mean, that's that festival that I would read in, you know, Rip magazine, because we couldn't get Kerrang where I lived. So I read about it in Rip. I read about it in Metal Edge. I read about it in Circus and Hit Parader, and like, I mean, that was the concert, you know, and I can remember reading about it in study hall in a high school and just going, God, what if one day I could play it and not headline it, but I mean just play it, you know. And then, you know, obviously, you know, 2009 we headlined it, and it was one of the highlights of my life, you know. I mean, just stepping out on that stage, I was seriously on the verge of tears. Like I almost missed the first part of Sick because I was so like emotional, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it was so, you know, to be able to kind of draw that line from that moment back to sitting at that, you know, that crappy lunch table, reading about Maiden and Guns N' Roses and Metallica and AC/DC, you know, I mean, those epic gigs and being like, I'm a part of that history now, you know, it just makes me proud.
And I remember reading that you guys were having a bad day in 2009 prior to going on stage.
We were screaming at each other.
What was the vibe? What was the vibe?
Yeah, we were just.
It's
just. Well, it's Slipknot.
Right.
We really needed a reason for us to fight each other.
No.
You know? It's dumb. What it came down to was nerves.
Yeah,
because I mean, everybody's like, Slipknot gets nervous. Yeah, we were extremely nervous. You know, I mean, this was 10 years in the making. You know, and I know I was just a mess, dude. I was just like, you know. But then I can remember when the sampling hit, and we all came together for the huddle, you know, because we do a huddle before every show, and we there's my favorite expletive, and then the name of whatever we're playing, whether it's the town or the festival.
Right.
And we screamed it so loud, dude, and it was everything we could do to hold ourselves back from getting on that stage, you know. So it was a special, special night, you know, and it made it even better because I looked down in the audience and there was a kid with a sign that said, "Finally, Slipknot headlines download." You know, I mean you know, I'm starting to get a little weird just thinking about it, man. So.
Were there moments that you could, because people always say that like these things go by in a blur, but were there moments that you could hold on to? I mean, the start of Duality must have been like
sick.
Like, I mean, from out in the crowd must have been what was one thing, but like
the 3 moments I remember. I remember the "Welcome to a Dream Come True" speech that I said. I don't remember anything after that.
Yeah.
I remember Duality, and I remember the jump up part on Spit It Out.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you get 3 good, man, I mean, it's not everything to get 1, you know, but you get 3 and you're gold, you know. I can remember the audience just moving on Psychosocial as well, you know, and just seeing how amped and stoked they were, you know. I mean, it was, because, I mean, I can remember our first show at the Astoria, you know, on the Kerrang run, you know. I can remember, because it was 2 days after my birthday in '99. It was December 8th, 1999. We flew over, and it was intense, man. It was crazy, and we weren't sure how people were gonna take it, you know. And honestly, the rest of the world got us before America did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we came back that it really started to dawn on people, and it really started to take off. And it was, you know, but it started here. So I've always had a really wonderful place in my heart for this country. And
do you like just try to do something different next time, instead like this year's festival? Like instead of trying to compete with like what you did in 2009, how do you switch it up with like no new record there?
It's weird, you know. I mean, obviously, you know, for us right now, it's just about embracing the band itself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not time to talk, like, to think about the future yet. It's, you know, we're still kind of regrouping and rebuilding the foundations and whatnot, and figuring things out. So for us, it's just the joy of being in that band, you know, which I know is fairly ironic when you think about it. It's like what? You know, I'm pretty good on record as being a jerk about it sometimes, but you know, when things like that happen, you really start to put everything in perspective, and you start to look at things clearly. You take the selfishness out of it, and you take everything out of it, and you go, wow, I've been really fortunate. You know, I've been really lucky over my life to be able to be in a band as extraordinary as Slipknot. So for me, it's about kind of coming back to that touchstone, you know, and really embracing my love for it, because that's what got me into it in the first place, you know. And so there'd probably be a few things that we change up, you know. I mean, I'm going to be on the road for the most part with Stone Sour, so there probably won't be a lot of rehearsal or anything like that, which is great for us though, because
makes
honestly,
it a bit more punk rock.
Slipknot, and I say this with absolute compliments to everyone in that band, we are seriously one of those bands that we can have one rehearsal and we're solid. And I mean, that's after not seeing each other for a year. And I mean, it's boom, and it is, I mean, just dead on, and you're just like, wow. I mean, it's impressive, and it always surprises me just how quickly we knock the rest off.
Have you ever done double duty before as well, doing slip?
I've only done it once. I've only done it once, and that was Rock in Rio, actually this year. And it was cool. Like, it was weird.
I bet.
You know, I was like, well, I've got Stone Sour tonight. God, I got Slipknot tomorrow.
I'm gonna do my back in. Or...
There was honestly, there was one moment that I almost said each other's band's name during the respective sets.
Jesus.
And I had to stop. It doesn't help that they both start with S.
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
You know, that was poor planning on my part. But I mean, because at one point, you know, I was asking the audience, is like, are you happy to see? And I was going to say Stone Sour, and I was like, us.
Yeah, amazing.
Again. Pronouns. Gotta love them.
Stick it. It goes across both of them. Can't go wrong.
Exactly.
Right. Stick around. Corey's going to be answering your questions. Stick around for more from the Lowdown. Right. More from Corey later on in the show as he'll be answering your questions. Exciting times indeed. Right. Time to give out some tickets. We did promise to return with the Down Lowell's Big Ten, so here it is. We asked you to fill in the band name with something funny, and the funniest answer wins. We asked you to do that on the Scuzz Facebook page, where the address for is right here now. Ready? It's 30 seconds to blank. Number 10, Daniel Scott says 30 seconds to fat, 30 bugger. Number 9, Tony Maria says 30 seconds to down it, down what? We'll leave it to your imagination. Number 8, Luke Hicks says 30 seconds to bras, like we've done there. Number 7, Christian Wickens says 30 seconds to hold your breath before entering a Portaloo. Essential advice there. Number 6, Nathan Carrington says 30 seconds to pull your pants up and close the door on the way out. Number 5, Janusz Jasinski says 30 seconds to the end of yet another Harlem Shake video. Harlem Shake is the worst thing to happen on the internet. Oh, no, don't give me stick for it, it's rubbish. Number 4, Kenny McCrimmon says 30 seconds to rumble. Number 3, Brady Deeprose says 30 seconds to get to the chopper. My auntie's rubbish, northern accent, just about get away with. Number 2, Karis Ramsey says 30 seconds to Uranus. And number 1, Ben Rumbelow says 30 seconds to compile a funny answer in order to win some download tickets. You did just that. Lucky you. Right, that's it for part 2. Still to come, more from Corey Taylor. I chat to Hacktivist. Plus, what would Bruce do? That's our new thing with Bruce Dickinson. And of course, your shout-outs and requests. See you in 4. What have you put 4? It's very specific. 4 or 5, I don't know, I'm not counting. 4.5. 4.5, done. Welcome back to the Lowdown, the official Download Festival TV show. Now, you heard from him talking all things download earlier on in the show, but now the legend that is Mr. Corey Taylor answers your questions. Let's go. Welcome back to the Lowdown. Corey is now going to be asking your... asking? No, you're not going to be asking anything.
Answering your questions.
Yeah, that's the one. That's how it works.
To the best of my ability.
You can't ask people that.
I didn't do any revisions, so this should be great. Really.
Gareth Lunn asks, where'd you get your suits?
Which ones? The Kerrang ones or the ones I wear on stage?
Both.
All right. The Kerrang ones, the first 3 years was a wonderful company called Moods of Norway, which is the weirdest suit company I've ever seen.
Oh, we've seen.
You've seen, but you have no idea. Like, go to their website. If you're having trouble with your eyesight, go to their website. It'll clear you right up. And there's this weird mythology that they've created around it, which is like our gran out in the the rural country of Oslo really enjoyed martinis and tractors. So their logos are a martini glass and a tractor. I'm like, what is this?
Don't drink and drive, kids.
Dumbest thing I've ever. Well, don't drink and farm. Apparently,
yeah, that's right.
Unless you're dressed like that, because you'll keep yourself awake. But this last year, I wore. It was all golf clothing. It was this company called loudmouthgolf.com. Or .net, or something. Yeah. Google it. You might find it. It'll probably take you to a porn site or something. But yeah, I mean, it was so fantastic. Not only did the pants and the jacket match, but the hat did. And I had the cheapest sunglasses ever, like $5 for 2 pair.
Amazing.
It was so good. So yeah, I really enjoy doing that. I'm not going to be able to do it this year though.
Oh man.
It's a bum out. I'm going to be at the Greenfield Festival in Sweden, I think, with Stone Sour. So, it is what it is. Maybe I'll film something and just send it in. You know, that'd be cool. But my other suits, I get through John Varvatos, which is a very high-end, very austere. How are you? Yes, I own my own security business.
Very debonair.
Yeah. Swirl my wine like this. Stupid.
James Cansdale asks, if you could pick your own 3 headliners, who would you pick for download?
For download? Ooh.
Pick your 3 headliners.
If only we could get Bad News back together.
Oh man, could you imagine?
Dude, and I'd make them play 3 hours. They only have 7 songs, but it would all be bits, you know? Like, it would just, like, because I've got the album. I have the Bad News album, so I'm a warrior, I'm Genghis Khan. So good, man. So Bad News on Sunday.
Yeah.
Friday, that's a toughie. I would go with the Foo Fighters.
Nice.
Just because they're
good vibes.
One of the top 3 best bands in the world, for me, anyway. And then Saturday, just because I'm greedy, Metallica. Because it's kind of like me and Download. You know, Metallica and Download really go together, and they're still one of my favorite bands. So,
amen.
So Foos, Metallica, Bad News. Wonderful. That's my download weekend.
Eddie Ted Robinson says, could you deck a horse with 1 punch? 1 punch.
Well, I could definitely one off with 1 punch. I mean, you know, you come at me with them teeth. First of all, I mean, they're mildly devious, to be honest. I mean, you looking at your horse's eyes. First of all, you can't look in their eyes because they're on either side of their head. But if you look in their eye, that one, they give you that look like, I'll bite you. And I've seen them pick a kid up by their hair and throw him. That's dangerous stuff. So
pacifist as far as
comes at me with those gums. Yeah, get away. I'll punch a bee. You know, I'll knock a bee out. I know I've got the power to knock a bee out, which I've done.
Yeah.
But I'll do my best to knock out a horse. But by that time, he's probably trampled me into the ground. So.
Megan McMillan says, are you going to go and see The Hobbit?
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh, of course.
You down with...
Especially now that there's 3 movies. Greedy.
Yeah.
He's such a greedy...
Yeah, really. Like, the Lord of the Rings, 3, The Hobbit.
It's a symmetry to it. You know, there's a symmetry to it. You know, you have the 3 Lord of the Rings movies, which made sense that there was 3 books. And then we're taking 1 book that was kind of finished posthumously, and we're splitting them into 3 movies. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, just take all our money.
Jolene Bramley says, do you feel as though you have to be 2 different people when you perform with your 2 different bands?
I used to.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I used to, you know, well, you know, it's easy to, you know, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, I mean, when you're younger, you put on different airs, you know, and you want to do better. But, you know, there's a sense of selfishness that gets in there that is good for a front man, obviously. I mean, you have to have a pretty generous ego to do what you do if you're going to be good at it. But that kind of transitions into your personal life as well. So, you know, there was a part of me that's, you know, wanted to distance myself, you know, if I was doing one, I couldn't talk about the other and whatnot, and just a lot of rubbish. But over the years, it's gotten really closer to, you know, to that point, you know. I can say that when I'm doing Slipknot, I get a lot darker, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because you just can't help it. I mean, you know, even though there's, you know, for me, there's this kind of dark positivity that comes with every song, that you just kind of have to be able to tap into that part of you that, you know, you try to keep at bay for the most part. So with Stone Sour, it's much more my personality, you know, because I mean, you know, I'll get into it. I'm heavy, you know, but I love to crack jokes, you know, with the audience and poke fun at myself and whatnot. I mean, that's what I live to do. So over the years, it's gotten a lot closer to the center. You know?
Can't do jokes before surfacing.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
They don't go over well.
Right.
You know.
And Jack Brooks says, oh no, we've already asked that. Claire Simpson says, what's your favourite dinosaur? It's the last one, I promise.
You printed those out.
Yeah,
You took the time.
This is my job.
Print those out.
This is my job. These are the ones that made it. Imagine the ones that
Those are the ones that made it.
Right. Imagine the other ones.
I'd like to send a personal message to all my fans out there. You can do better.
Well, he's right. You can.
I'm fairly ashamed of you right now.
Try harder.
And, I think you should write in your Hello Kitty diary that you're going to try and do better. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for Uncle Corey?
And less Jurassic Park.
I mean, I'm wearing my Superman underwear right now, so I expect more from you than that. And if anything, I want you to know, they're not clean either. So I knew it was Scuzz TV, so I didn't really have to worry about it.
Scuzz by name, Scuzz by nature.
You can do better than that. I'll say Brontosaurus because it's not a real dinosaur.
There you go. Thanks for your questions, or not.
Oh, I had to blur that. Sorry. That's that one. Yeah, that's good.
Corey Taylor there, who you can see headlining the main stage with Slipknot on the Friday night and hitting the main stage again on the Sunday with Stone Sour. Greedy bugger. Now, we always want to give a shout out to some of the bands that you might not have heard of. So here are gent rap crossover blokes Hacktivist giving you a little slice into their world. Bees, welcome to the Lowdown. I'm here with Hacktivist, Ben and Jay from the band. What's going on?
Yeah, we're all good. Just looking forward to our tour starting today, little UK tour.
Nice.
And obviously the summer, so yeah.
So,
cool.
Download. Like, is this probably the biggest show that you'll have played up to that point?
Biggest show in the UK, innit?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it would be.
Where have you done that? What's the biggest one you've done outside?
Well, this will be the biggest one we would have done, I reckon. It depends what stages we get on the other festivals and that, or the European ones like Rock and Ring and stuff.
Oh, nice.
But it'll be up there, yeah.
Is this like an opportunity, because your name's been bandied around a bit now, to prove to people what you lot are about?
I think so, yeah, because at the moment we've just done like smaller gigs, like a few hundred people.
Yeah, kind of preaching to the converted.
Yeah, and at the moment we're doing it to people who already know about us, so to go to festivals and that, a lot of people can hear us that probably haven't heard us before, so yeah, it should be cool, man.
And is it the thing that like you're looking forward to most when you look at like your tour dates that are coming up? Is it the one that really pops out?
Download is, yeah. I mean, I've wanted to play it since I was like 14. I mean, Jay's obviously new to the metal scene and that, but since he started to know about it and that, he's excited as well.
Yeah.
And like, it must be a trip because Download in recent years seems to be taking more to stuff that's like less monsters of rock, so it's less Judas Priest and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, and in recent years, there's like Mode Step have had a really good time of it there, and like Pendulum, we've watched start from like halfway down the second stage to ended up tearing it up like high on the main stage. Does it feel like it's less intimidating for a band that are outside of traditional metal boundaries?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got obviously Korn and Limp Bizkit and that.
Yeah.
And Enter Shikari, so it's a mix up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, it's definitely changed over time. So, yeah, I think we'll be a lot more comfortable playing it this year than maybe 5-6 years ago.
Right, and like, how would you describe your sound? Because you're a newer band, that aren't particularly like more established with our guys. How would you describe your sound to people that haven't heard you before? I know it's such a dodgy question, but like, I'd see that exactly.
Just listen to Hacktivist. Yeah, I think a lot of people trying to pinpoint what we are and mixing all these genre names up and making their own thing, but just listen to it. You can't really describe it, I don't think.
Have you been to Download as a punter before?
I've never been. No.
Right, so have you got any kind of preconceived notions of what you're expecting it to be?
I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube and that.
Oh, yeah?
Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
Sea of people.
Yeah. Just madness, I think, innit?
That's right. And so do you think that, like, when you actually at your shows, so I've never seen you at one of your headline shows, like, what sort of kids does it attract? Because that's something that I can't kind of picture.
It's a mix, yeah.
Like what a hacktivist crowd.
You've got like hip-hop kids, grime kids, metal kids, everything really. I wouldn't say there's a sort of type of a fan that we've got.
Yeah.
It's literally anything, like skater kids, like metalheads, anything.
There's some people that usually wouldn't like metal and some people that usually wouldn't like rap.
Would you say that you're bringing anything particularly new to what's going on at the minute?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of kind of elitist fans in like genres, I think there is.
Yeah, metal more the most.
I think we've managed to bring people out of that, a lot of people, and it's cool because at the moment the scene is good, but there's not really that much innovation going on, I don't think. So
yeah, fair.
I think we have brought that, definitely.
And like early shows, was it like looking at people and them kind of half getting it, or like has it taken a while to like get people involved, or are they there straight?
Every show's been crazy.
Yeah, straight from the get-go, it was the same. I mean, they're not getting any better. They've just been good from the beginning. So we were a bit doubtful when we started, weren't we? Like whether or not it was going to go off and whether people would get it. But no, yeah, it's been a lot better than we've imagined it to be. Every show. So
sweet. Do you know what day you're on yet?
Nah.
As if you don't know when you're playing. Sunday, Pepsi Backstage. I can't say Pepsi though, in fairness. Now, every week, just for the lols, we've given Iron Maiden's very own Bruce Dickinson a set of scenarios and want you to guess which option he goes with. This week, we asked him, would he rather be a dog called Killer or a cat called Fluffy? What would Bruce do?
Ooh.
Mmm.
Ooh.
Mmm.
Ooh.
Right, well, we'll be asking all the highbrow questions like that over the course of this series of The Lowdown. Which do you think he goes with? A dog called Killer or a cat called Fluffy? Hit us up on Twitter now, @ScuzzTV, and the hashtag WWBD. The answer will be coming right up after the break. Right, welcome back to the final part of The Lowdown. Earlier, we asked Iron Maiden frontman Bruce Dickinson, would you rather be a dog called Killer or a cat called Fluffy? You've had your say on Twitter, but here is what Bruce would actually do.
I think I'd rather be a cat named Fluffy.
What would Bruce do? Yeah, me as well, Bruce. More What Would Bruce Do next week and for the coming weeks on The Lowdown. And of course, you can catch Iron Maiden blasting out a Made in England set list when they headline the main stage on the Saturday night of this year's Download Festival. Right, it's that time where we hand the show over to you, to your shout-outs and requests, so let's get on with it. Darren Swales wants to give a shout-out to his 13-year-old son, Ethan Swales, who is taking his 6th download this year. Surely that's a record for a 13-year-old, I reckon, so I'm impressed. Alex James Methven wants to give a shout-out to Adam Lee Methven, you've got long names, for being an awesome brother that he's going to download with. Kieran Wake wants to give a shout-out to Architects and Rise to Remain and congratulates them on getting on the main stage. Round of applause for both of those bands. And Nathan Beach wants to give a shout-out to Amy Rushworth and wants to request Bleed From Within's Uprising. Catch Bleed From Within on the Pepsi Max stage on the Sunday of this year's Download Festival. But for now, here's the title track of their forthcoming awesome album, Uprising, Bleed From Within. Right, that's it for week 1 of The Lowdown. Cheers for joining us. We'll see you next week where we'll catch up with Enter Shikari. Thanks very much. And are joined by returning Aussie rockers Airborne. Remember, tickets are on sale now. Downloadfestival.co.uk. Get in there now. The festival will sell out. Don't do this to me. You can also check out the Google Hangout that we did with Bullet for My Valentine on the Download Festival YouTube channel and keep an eye out for them on a future edition of The Lowdown. Until then.